The article was saying that he's views college like a six-figure vacation. There's parties and all that. So you know what? This guy is the anomaly. This guy is the exception. He does not represent the vast majority of college goers. You know what? Good for him. What's up, guys? I'm Yokai Seiya. Welcome to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about college and is it really a scam? Well, that's sort of going to be the topic of today's video. There was a teenager by the name of Zach Yadagari. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He is the high school teen co-founder of Cal AI, which is an AI app that you can download. I've seen ads for this on Instagram, I believe, where it just looks at this. It looks at the food that you are trying to see the calories for. It takes a picture or something like that. It scans it and it tells you the macros and the calories and things like that. I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of that, where it just tells you the calories of what you're eating and the macros and things like that just by scanning it. I don't know how accurate something like that could truly be. I feel like to get the macros, you gotta really research the exact food that you're getting and gotta weigh it out. So I don't know how accurate something like that would be, but anyway, I digress. So the reason I'm talking about this guy today is because I see that what he basically is saying is college is not worth it for most people. And it goes into an article. I found an article on Fortune talking about some of the things that he's been saying here. After Cal AI started taking off, it was confirmed. I was like, okay, clearly you don't need a college degree to be successful. My parents finally saw the vision. Okay, so anytime I hear a story about like a CEO or some 16-year-old who created some app and made millions of dollars, I take that with a grain of salt to some degree because yes, although it is true, you don't need a college degree to be successful in today's age. There are so many jobs where you can move up the corporate ladder that don't necessarily need a degree for. That is true, but I feel like there's still a lot of benefits that you can get from going to college. So although it is true you don't need college to be successful, I think there's still a lot of advantages of going to college. And I think that if you're trying to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher at a specific field, or just you want to grow and climb the corporate ladder, having a college degree can really help your credentials. It shows that you have skill sets, and then companies do value college degrees still. So I think it's definitely worth going to college. From what I'm reading, this guy got rejected from a lot of different schools. I'm looking at this tweet that he posted. He got rejected from Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Yale, Wash U, Columbia, UPenn, and those are just some of the many schools that he got rejected from. However, he did post that he got accepted into Georgia Tech, U Miami, and UT. So there are some schools that he got rejected from, but this is actually shocking, the amount of schools that rejected him, despite having a 4.0 GPA, a 34 on the ACT, and he has a $30 million company. So it's pretty shocking that someone like that could get rejected by so many schools, but to me, that's a little mind-boggling how somebody with that type of credential would get rejected by so many schools. It's just definitely mind-blowing to some degree. So going back to college, I really think that if you're somebody who wants to pursue college, wants to get the college experience, I'd say it's definitely worth it. If you want to save money, I would say going to community college for 2 years and then going to a university can help save money that way. And although there are disadvantages, like you might carry a lot of student loan debt, there are other life experiences that I also went to college, although I did not finish college at the moment. I'm still planning on finishing eventually. I definitely grew in areas of my life that I would not have if I did not go to college. So college gave me a lot of great life experience. It teaches you how to be responsible. Yes, there are people who waste their college years just party and just get bad grades and stuff. But for the most part, for me, college has shaped me, and I would not be the man I am today if it wasn't for going to college. So going to college is definitely worth it. But I would say if you want to go to college and you are going for a field that requires getting a degree, definitely go to college. It's worth it. You may get jobs that pay higher in the long run if you go to college. Anyway, so from what I'm reading with this guy, Zach Yadagari, he's going to school, but he's basically going just to party and just something that most people don't need, but I'm doing it for fun, which is great. You know what? If you want to do that, great. Enjoy yourself. That's awesome. But this is the anomaly. This is not the average person. The average person is not going to fit into this category. So, although there are routes where I'll say it this way, if you do not know what you want to go to school for, there's no need to rush going to college. It's not a great thing, in my opinion, to go to college, study something for 4 years just to realize, oh, shoot, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not actually what I want to do. So I feel like college is definitely something that's worth it if your field requires getting a degree. However, if you're going for a job that doesn't require a degree, then there's no rush to have to go back to school and finish. There's a lot of jobs out there where it allows you to move up where it doesn't necessarily require a degree, whether it's a trade or it's just a career field that doesn't require a degree. There's a lot of routes that you can go without needing a degree. So if you want to go to college, I think it's worth it. But at the same time, don't feel like you need to go, because there's a lot of ways to become successful. Somebody saying you don't need a college degree to be successful, someone like this, I have mixed opinions on it, because again, it just depends on what you want to do. If you have the skill set, if you are somebody who has the mindset of an entrepreneur, and you have the credentials and you have been able to make a lot of money without a degree, then granted, for you, you don't need the degree. But I feel like people like that don't speak for everybody. I feel like there's a lot of advantages of going to school, as I kind of mentioned. And if you're somebody that wants to go to college because you want to get that college experience, it could definitely give you a lot of good memories there. There's a lot of good experiences that you can get out of college. I think college is like life. It's what you make of it. You know, some people have a good experience of college. Some people have a bad experience, but ultimately it comes down to what it's worth it. So in my opinion, college is not a scam. Sorry, Charlie Kirk, I don't agree with you there, but it really just depends on what you're going to college for. And I think that's what really makes a difference. But going back to this guy, the reason I wanted to bring him up is because he created these apps and he has made a lot of money from advertisements on these apps, and also made a lot of money from just having people buy the subscriptions. And he's been able to make a good living for himself. The guy's making the big bucks, and good for him. But when it comes to necessarily people saying like you don't need college to be successful, and although it is true, I feel like for a lot of people, getting that degree will greatly benefit them and add to their skill sets. Although there's a lot of fields that you can get into without a degree, sometimes getting that degree helps open up more doors. And from what I understand, this guy was basically going to school and basically just having fun with it, which is fine. I mean, hey, if you're making a lot of money and you want to go to school for fun and you have money to burn, go for it. The Fortune article was saying, if I wasn't going to optimize for the best school academically, I was going to optimize for the best school socially. Yadagari said, 2 weeks into school, I've been having a great time. And then it's also saying that the article was saying that he's views college like a 6-figure vacation. There's parties and all that. So you know what? This guy is the anomaly. This guy is the exception. He does not represent the vast majority of college goers. You know what? Good for him. You know what? If you can afford it and you can afford to burn money and then just look at school as just a social thing and you just burn all this money just to have fun and you don't really need it. If you have that disposable income, good for you. I'm not even going to hate on that. You know what? If I had an app that made like $80 million or something like that, and I'm just like, you know what, let me just go to school for fun, just to party, have fun, whatever. I'm not really a party animal like that, but hypothetically speaking, if I was in that scenario, I could see why somebody like that would want to go to school just to have a good time. But the beginning of the article that I want to reiterate is just where it says in the article, Gen Z coder rejected by the Ivy League despite founding a $30 million app says college is not worth it for most people. That's the title of the article I'm reading today and that I'm getting snippets from just to talk about this topic. I would say for most people, it's arguable. I would say it just really depends. It's hard to say because it really depends on the individual. It really depends on if what you're going for requires the degree at all. If you're going to school and you are studying something that requires a degree, it's definitely worth it. In fact, if you want to move up in the corporate world, if corporate America is something you want to do or is a specific skill set, having college can definitely help with that. College is not the only way to become successful. There are other avenues, but when I look at people who are like the YouTubers, the streamers, or the entrepreneurs who made an app at age 15, people like that are the exception to the rule. So when somebody like that says something like college is a scam, or if people, I'm not saying this guy said college is a scam, but I'm just using hypothetically, if somebody like that were to say college is a scam or it's not worth it for most people, in some ways I would take it with a grain of salt to some degree, because I would say, you know what, you're the exception to the rule. So you may not need it, but a lot of people who don't have your credentials could really benefit from it. So that's where I would kind of disagree with that take. All right, so what do you think? Do you think college is a scam? Do you think it's something that's worth it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm Yokai Seiya. Thanks for watching. Until next time.